Hey there, guys. So this is an exciting day. This is a good way to start the week. NVIDIA has just come out with something called Cosmos, which is it's a world builder sort of a thing. So it is. This is really a trip. It's actually designed to create incredible realistic worlds that you can use to train bots on. So like these pictures here, you can generate what's going to be called synthetic data, so that then you can train things like automated cars, or robots that are doing certain stuff, so you can actually train them on that data. So you say, like, this is where you could step, this is where you don't step, there's a bear over there, all these things you see, and you can then train the bot on how to do that stuff. Now obviously this is going to be a big thing, because otherwise all these people that are creating bot stuff would have to go out and get all this footage themselves. And so NVIDIA is really just capturing the market here and saying, we're going to help. I mean, it's huge, and we're going to talk more about it, but we're going to help companies to actually create the data they need to train stuff. I mean, we are on the edge of massive explosion of AI. Like, everything is just going to be trained, and they're coming out with this digits computer. I don't know if you guys have heard this, but the new supercomputers that are coming out that cost less than the computer that I'm on, that are housing 128 gigabytes of VRAM. They're saying you could put two of these things together and you could be running a 400 billion parameter chatbot on. I mean, it's mind-boggling. So they're really getting us to a place where we're going to be training stuff easily. Okay, and this is exciting. So Cosmos is kind of the beginning of that. So we're going to talk about that here. I'm going to give you my thoughts on this. It's one of these things where you kind of got to wrap your brain around it, because it's not just a video generating model. So a lot of people out there are saying, well, is it like HoneyUI, or is it like this? It's not. It's not what it's designed for. It's actually a training thing. And we're going to talk here. I'm going to talk with you a bit about the kind of stuff that you could do with this, and we're going to brainstorm a little bit. I got a small brain. Like, I don't have an expansive, imaginative brain, but I'm going to, even with my little small brain, I'm going to be able to help you come up with some ideas. And then you guys and these other brilliant eggheads out there are going to take this stuff and you're going to run big with it. So we're gonna get into that. I'm gonna actually teach you how to install this in ComfyUI. That was the part you was waiting for. So you're gonna be able to run a small model of this and play with it, and that's very exciting. I'm gonna teach you how to do it. But before we do that, please do like the channel, share it, tell people, say, hey, you heard of Get Going Fast? Tell me, what's your thoughts on AI? And that fellow GJ over there, he teaches, and just have that conversation. People been in like, hey, did you see the Ravens play? Did you see Dallas? You say, well, not so much, but have you got going fast? Have that kind of conversation. And I certainly do appreciate you for doing that. All right, but let's get on. I'm going to show you some examples of some stuff we can do here. We're going to talk a little bit more about it, but we've got a lot of yoing to do, so let's yodel our way on to Cosmos. Yo. Okay, so as we were talking about here, NVIDIA here has created the model, and let's go ahead and look at some of what it says here. What is NVIDIA Cosmos? It's a platform of state-of-the-art generative world foundation models. Okay, it's a world builder, advanced tokenizer guardrails, and accelerated data processing curation pipeline built to accelerate, this is the key part, built to accelerate the development of physical AI systems, such as autonomous vehicles and robots. Okay, so in other words, they want you developing stuff. They want you developing robots. Okay, now you can read through all of this stuff. Basically, look at 20 million hours of robotics and driving data. It's trained on 9,000 trillion tokens. That's massive. Okay, that is so big. But you can read in here, and I really want to show you. It gets down here. Video search. Cosmos helps developers build data sets for their AI model training, whether it's snowy road footage for self-driving cars or busy warehouse scenes for robotics. And we're going to talk about this. I'm going to explain this in deeper depth for you. Cosmos simplifies video tagging and search by understanding spatial and temporal patterns. Okay, in other words, what it does is it generates scenes like you see here, and then we'll talk more about it again, but it basically, then you can train it, say this is what a foggy road looks like, this is what a slick road looks like, this is what it looks like when a bear is crossing the road, this is what it looks, this kind of stuff. And so you can use this stuff and you tag it by pointing out everything that's in the image and teaching the AI on it. So as it says, this saves time, reduces costs, and helps deliver AI models that are highly relevant. So in other words, instead of hiring professionals to go out there and take hours and hours and hours of footage that you're going to use, you can generate it because they've generated high quality real world stuff and they're using high physics on there. So I want to show you, I thought down here it had one that says, well, anyways, there was another one here where it talked about, must be on a different page, where it talks about how people are using it. And that's basically the same thing. So it's just saying that they're using it to train models to build their stuff. Now, we're going to look at a 7 billion parameter model. Okay, so they have a 14 billion parameter model that that is going to do a lot better stuff, but we're going to be out of the range with this. It's going to be, I'm running a 4090, which is 24 gigabytes of VRAM. Okay, it's a very good card. It takes me 20 minutes or so to generate the base level of these videos, okay? Which means that if you're running lower than that, it's going to take you a very long time if you can even run it, okay? And because it's 7 billion, it's not going to come out in great quality, some of it, but because it's going to have some problems, okay? Because again, what do? The precision is less. They cut off decimal points. We've talked about this before. You have a long number that's very precise, and you can cut it in half, save some. Then it only takes half of the storage, but you've also lost half of the precision, and that's essentially what happens when they bring these models down to a level that we can use them on our local machines. Okay, no big deal. We're still going to play with it. I'm going to show you here some of the stuff we've been able to make. So this is one of the first ones that I did here. Is just a cowgirl walking through a barn. Now, I want to point out, I added the cowgirl here. When you're training this stuff, you're not going to have a person there, okay? Because you don't need to train it on the person. Although I suppose if you were training a robot that is supposed to follow behind the person, you could train it and teach it to stay this far behind the person. But essentially, this really isn't the case use for this, okay? This is just kind of a groovy thing I made. But you'll see here what you could do is you could teach the robot where a horse is, where the things on the stalls are. You're going to see there's some weird stuff over here that's relics. Like that is a weird looking thing there because it's not a great model. But anyway, the point is you teach it where a door is. You teach it what certain things, like if there's horse poop on the ground, you'd be able to train it on that to avoid it, that kind of thing. Let's look over here. Here's another one I made of a restaurant. Again, you ain't going to have this girl in here. I just put her there for, because she's pretty. But you might have a waitress robot, and you're training it saying, this is what it looks like customers. This is a table. This is a chair. You're teaching it not to bump into these things. Maybe you show there's a table with an empty glass, and so you teach it to pick that up, but you teach it not to pick those up because it's got people there. So you see, it really breaks down. The purpose of this is to create environments that you can then break down and train your robot on it. So, then again, you've got Harvey, the waiter robot. Here's a train thing. Now this obviously has got some problems with it. You can see again because it's of the precision, but you can see how you could use this kind of thing for a train system. Say, okay, it's checking this is the river, this is what trees look like. You could program this thing to have trees falling in the thing, or maybe you see rocks falling over here, and it would be able to identify this is what a landslide looks like, this is what a tree falling looks like, and then it's able to then create structure within that vehicle, let's say the AI train, to respond according to these things, right? So you're generating these things. Here's another one. This is probably the best one, came out the best. It's from a plane. So maybe you're using this, you've got a drone, and you would train it on different things. Maybe there's clouds over there. You could train it. That's what it looks like when it's overcast. Or maybe you look for you could program this thing to have fires. in different places. The bottom line is you're generating scenes. Okay, this is just a basic scene, but you could create all sorts of scenes where maybe you see cars going there, and you're going to use it to track certain things, but you're going to have events happen in all of these. So we've got all of these, I thought I had another one here, but you got all these things that we've generated. Maybe you would generate this one against someone dropping a glass on the ground. And so you can train it on that. So the point isn't just to create static environments, but to create things where things are happening, so that then when you're creating your vehicles or your robots, it knows how to respond to that. And you don't have to create it yourself. You're literally just tapping it and getting it to go in there and to learn it. Okay, so that is what this model does. So obviously there's going to be creative ways to use this, for your social media to make different cool stuff, but the actual case use of this is for training groovy things. Now, I do want to throw out here that NVIDIA has been coming out with I think it's NVIDIA's coming out with these new super machines that they're selling. I'm trying to find the link here for you while we're talking. Here, okay, let's go over here really quick. Like, you're getting these things. This NVIDIA puts Grace Blackwell. You're talking, look at it, a supercomputer capable of running 200 billion parameter models. That's insane. I can run like at the most a 30 billion parameter model if it's quantized down to 5. So they're talking about selling these computers for as low as $3,000, which is insane. Now, so on top of that, they're coming out with these models here where now we can train our robots. So I really think that what's happening here is that I think this is exciting. They're getting us ready where they're saying we want people to have supercomputers that have high VRAM, that are inexpensive to get them, so that people like you and me can actually be training stuff. So we can be doing stuff in our house. Probably what's going to happen in the next 5 to 10 years is we'll actually be having robots in our own home, and we'll just be sitting on our computer and able to train it on the stuff. They'll have the software out there. It'll be easy, and we'll have computers that are able to do it and software to do it with. So these two things working in tandem is really exciting. And I'm going to tell you, if I had $3,000, I'd be going to want to buy one of those Blackwells because I want to play with that. That's a lot of VRAM. It's a supercomputer. At least for me, it's a supercomputer. Maybe it ain't like a MIT supercomputer, but it's pretty super. So that's what's going on with Cosmos. Okay, so very cool. Like I said, the 7 billion parameter we're going to play with, not the perfect thing, but we're going to get an idea of this kind of stuff we can do with it. And honestly, even like this picture here of the plane, that's pretty good quality. So I bet you, even with this, you could be using this even with the 7 billion if you could get a clean enough picture to train stuff. So I would love to see what kind of stuff you're doing. Now, before I do move on to the install, I do want to point out that something that someone else has mentioned is that with this, they're coming out with a very cool video to video thing of this. So right now, you can use text to video with this, and I believe they have a video. It's a video to video, so it's like you use text and image, okay? And what it does is it takes that one frame and then it extrapolates it out, kind of like what you do with Hunyuan IP to V, or with LTX or something like that. You're taking an image, it's a glorified image to video, okay? But they're also working on a video to video, which is going to be you take the last 9 frames of a video, and then basically you're able to just continue on with that. And so I've already heard from some of the guys in the open source, that's what they're excited about, because they think that's the more practical thing for us. I'm excited about the Blackwell supercomputers and this, and getting the idea of, oh my God, I could actually be training a robot here at home. But on just a base level of making cool graphs of pretty gal getting in an airplane and flying off, this is going to come out with some superior technology too on how to use it. So keep your eye on that scene as well, because every week it's just we're getting bigger and better and it's getting groovier and groovier. It's getting really cool stuff there. So, at any rate, this is the big thing. Okay, I want you to grasp what this is. This is not a Hunyuan. This is not a Moki generator. Okay, this is a world model generator. It's a physics machine. Okay, it's building landscapes and all this kind of stuff. And anyway, I beat that one into the ground. So let's get on with the installation of this. Sound good? And we're going to do that in ComfyUI. So let's get on with that. Okay, so as usual, we're going to need to have your Comfy installation. So this is going to work with your Comfy manual. It's going to work with your Comfy portable. It's going to work with your Swarm UI, because all we're really doing is we're just downloading models and we're going to put it in the correct folders. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to do that. It's actually really easy to do. Okay, but before we do that, I do want to show you over here. This is the GitHub repository for this. If you want to find this, all you got to do is go to Google and you just type in NVIDIA Cosmos and GitHub. Okay, and it's going to bring this up. And from here, you can actually use inference. Okay, so inference means like you can use it in your Python code. Okay, you don't have to use ComfyUI. You can do this from the command line. And to do that, I just can show you this really quick. You would just click over here where it says example usage. You just go to this diffusion inference. Okay, and you click on that, and it's going to basically get you started. It's got setting up a Docker environment to do this. So that's probably the easiest way to get that going. I've been working on trying to get this to just work as a standalone app. Not having the greatest success with that, but go for it. If you use the Docker environment, you're probably going to be fine, because that's what Docker is for. Okay, but we're not going to do that. We're going to end up going over here and using this. This is going to be the workflow that we're going to use, and it works fine. Okay, it works great. We're going to get the going. Now, I do want to point out that over here on the Patreon site, I have already created an installer here. If you don't want to go through this process, you can just go here, download this. Members can just grab this, download it, put it in their ComfyUI, just outside of their ComfyUI folder. You click it, and it's going to download the models, put them in the right place, update your ComfyUI. It's going to do everything we're about to do, and you'll be ready to go. Okay, so that is there for members. All right, now getting back to getting this going, there's just a few things that we're going to need to do. Okay, first of all, you can load up your ComfyUI as normal. Okay, so you should know how to do that. You just click your run or whatever, and click up here on your manager, and you're going to need to update your ComfyUI. So you're going to click on this button here. All right, and it's going to go ahead and it's going to go through the process of updating it, and you're going to hit restart. That's going to be important, and I'm going to show you where to get this workflow, but that's going to be important because these two boxes here are going to be updated with stuff that we need. If you don't update your Comfy, you're going to be getting errors. But we're getting a little bit ahead of ourselves, so let's go ahead and just get on with what we need to be doing. So first thing we want to do is head over to my website. Just go to cognibuild.ai. Okay, and you're going to click up here on the blog. Okay, and you're going to see over here it says NVIDIA Cosmos ComfyUI installation directions. So go ahead and click that. I've got all the instructions here, but you can also just go ahead and click this here, and this will take you over to this model here. Okay, hold on. Let me get my dogs to be quiet. All right, and this is really not that difficult. So what it says is, now notice is the test workflow. Okay, so this is probably going to change over time. But basically, we're going to have to download a Text-Encoder, a VAE, and then we're going to have to get a Diffusion-Model. This is the same thing as our checkpoint model. So down here, we're going to notice it says we need the old 5 T5XXL. So this should look familiar for you if you've done anything with Hunyuan, anything with LTX, this T5. Well, this is the older version, okay? So I think this is like version 1.1, and this is like 1.0. But this is the one that we need. And you're going to notice it says that we need to put it in our ComfyUI folder under the models folder and then under text encoders. Okay, not a big deal. Okay, then we're going to have to grab this one, which is called the CV8, and this is our VAE file. And that's going to go under models VAE. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to right click on this bad boy and I'm going to say open link in new terminal. Yo, okay? So that's going to pop us over to here. Now let's grab our text encoder first. You're going to see this up here. I'm going to click there. Now notice there's two of them. We want this FP8 one. This is what's going to make it able for us to use it. Notice it's half the size. Remember, because you got FP16, which is a cut down version, but then you got the FP8, which is another half. Okay, for us to get this to work on our machines, we're going to need to use this one. So we're just going to go over here and we're going to click the download. Let me click over here so you can see the full screen. Okay, we're going to click this and then it's going to bring up this. And so we're going to go over to wherever our Comfy installation. Now I'm using the portable here just because it's easy for me to teach you stuff. Again, you should be using a manual installation in my opinion, and you can get that from the Patreon site. It's for free. Okay, it's a gift. I love you. Here you go. Have it. Be blessed. Okay, manual installation. It's like learning how to check your own oil, learning how to pump your own gas. It's just good. Okay, it works better down the road. But I'm going to use the portable version just for this sake of this installation because it's easier for me to teach you with this. So regardless whatever you're using, you're going to have this ComfyUI folder. So we're going to click into there. Then we're going to go to models, and then you're going to find your folder called text encoders. So we click it. Now you just click save. You can see I've already got it. It's 4.7 gigabytes, so it's quite a lot. It's pretty big, but you're going to save it, and it's going to go to there. Okay. Then we can go and we say, well, what's the next one we need? We need this Cosmos CV8. That's the VAE model. So going back over here, we can just click the back button. Now we'll click on the VAE. Oh, well, there she is. Yo. So we'll click on that. Same thing. We go to D. We go images, Comfy. We'll go to my portable, ComfyUI, models, and then we're going to put it in the VAE. Okay, you can see I've already got it again. So you download it. This one is going to only take you just a little bit of time. It's only 200 megabytes, okay? Which is funny. I remember being a kid and like 1 megabyte was huge. Like waiting for an hour. Anyway, it was so funny. And so that's how you get that. Now, we can close this one out because we're done with that. So now what we do is we got to get the model, okay? So we're going to go over here. And we're going to right click on this bad boy. And this is this guy, McMonkey, who's done this for us. So if you see him on Reddit, say thank you, Mr. McMonkey. Thank you very much. Okay, and you're going to see that we get this Cosmos 1.0 Diffusion 7B. So again, we're not going to be able to run the 14B, okay? We're going to be able to run the 7B. So same thing, we're just going to click on the download. This time, however, what we do, getting into our ComfyUI folder, we're going to put it under diffusion models, okay? And we're just going to put it right there. Okay, now notice that's 14 gigabytes. So we're up to a total of about 18, 19 gigabytes by the time this is all done, all said and done. Okay, so those are all saved. Now we can close this out. Now we're going to go over here. We need the workflow. So this is the workflow. Okay, so this is called a JSON file. It's just a way of organizing data. But what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead right here and we're just going to right click on it. We're going to say save link as. No, we're not going to click it there. We're going to go over here where it says raw. And we're going to go save link as. And notice it says Cosmos text workflow. Now go to wherever your ComfyUI folder is. Okay. Now instead of going into ComfyUI, what I would do is create a folder called workflows. Go in there, create another folder called Cosmos, and then save it. Okay, that's just a good way to organize your workflows. So guys, that's all you need to really do for this to work. So now what we're going to do, okay, is we're just going to go over here. What are we going to do? We're going to go to our, well, I guess we'll go to our File Explorer. Okay, and we're going to just go ahead and click to run. So this is the portable, so I've got a different thing here. And that is going to go ahead and it's going to pop up this. There you go. Okay. And so everything will be ready. If you have not updated your ComfyUI, this will be red. It'll say it can't find it. If it's red and you can't find it, you just need to update it. Click Manager, Update All, then close the server, restart it. It's going to come back up. Now it has a default prompt in here. This is a pretty big prompt. If you look over on the different pages over here, like this is really cool. See the stuff it's making. You're going to see that the prompts are not that big. So I don't know why the guy that made the workflow made it that big. He just did. Okay. I'm also not sure why these aren't loading, but whatever. That's cool. I wonder if my internet just went out. Anyway, whatever. So you can notice the prompts aren't that big, so you don't really need to do a ton. I kind of want to see why these aren't running. There we go. So you can see the kind of stuff it's creating. And again, you can train it on there's a car, this is what a line looks like, all that good stuff. So anyway, where are we at? Sorry, I got myself confused. So you're here. Now notice it's going to be building at 1280 by 704. So it's a high definition picture. You can't drop that. Same thing with the length. The 121, from what I understand, this model does not work if you drop these numbers. So this is your base. This is your default. It takes me 20 minutes to generate something off here. So it takes a long time. Okay, and I run it through the Windows subsystem for Linux because I can get more out of it. But that also means it adds like an extra 3 minutes just in loading models. Typically, when you're using your Windows subsystem for Linux to do this kind of stuff, you want to make sure you're doing a lot of it because the initial load time is quite big. But anyway, these are the defaults. You can't lower these. They're just not going to work. Okay. I guess you could up them. You could play with that and see. Maybe you don't mind waiting, but this is it. I'm not going to run anything because we don't have the time to sit here and wait for it because it would take forever. And then plus I've got my AI stuff going on here for this video, so it'd take a long time. But the bottom line is this is what I ran to get this stuff. Okay. What I did is I used ChatGPT. Okay. And I just went over and I just copied this. And then I went to ChatGPT and I said to it, using this prompt, keep the style, write it exactly like this, but change the subject. And here's the subject. And then ChatGPT went ahead and created each different subject for me. And then I just pumped her back in there. But remember, the ones from the actual site are smaller. So I don't know, play around with it, see what you can get. Okay. And that's it. Okay. Now that's it. You're done. You're ready to go. You're ready to play with the new technology. And now you understand what it actually does. So you're not going to be sitting there. You're not going to create nudes with this. You're not going to create, sexy gal get out of the water and like flirts with the guy because that's not what it's designed for. Okay. It's designed for backgrounds. Now, maybe you create like a deck area with swimming pools and, maybe people on, maybe pretty gal lying on a beach chair or something like that. Because again, maybe you've got like a serving robot that needs to go around and you have to teach it what it looks like. But that's the mentality to get into, that you're creating scenes that then you can target these different parts of the scene and tell the robot, this is what this is, 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 and these are this is how you interact with when you see these things. So you don't run over. You see the pretty gal in the bikini on the thing, you don't run over that. Okay, you don't hit that. You don't drop drink on it. You don't try to pick up the drink that's right next to a person. You don't go into this is a pool, you don't go in here. Or maybe you have an underwater scene of the pool. Maybe you've got a lifeguard thing and you can generate underwater scenes of people swimming so that this underwater thing could actually tell when someone's in distress or not. Okay, that's what we're talking about with AI, guys, is that it's going to be everywhere. It's like you literally will have lifeguard bots. You could literally have something underground that will be able to identify if someone's struggling and then it comes to help them. Okay, and this is going to create the synthetic data. This is the synthetic training data to do that. So try it. Generate an underwater scene of people swimming, different things. and motion. And the point is to get it moving forward to motion. So as it's moving, it sees what things look like. Okay. And you got it going now in ComfyUI. You've got it going with a 7 billion parameter, which is not perfect, but it's good enough. Good enough for government work is what they say. It's good enough for what we're playing with here. And this stuff is going to be getting better and better. Okay, so they'll guff this here before too long. And again, with these new digits, these supercomputers, guys, here in a year or so, we maybe will be running. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if by the end of the year we're all running over 100 gigabytes of VRAM. I guarantee you, if I had $3,000 right now, I'd be buying it and I'd be training the living snot out of this kind of stuff, because this is the future and we're on it, and you're getting in at the very beginning of this. You're very welcome. Shake your hand. Enjoy that. Share with me what you're finding out about it. Let's talk more about it. And if you have any questions, hit me up here. Hit me up on the Discord. Discord's a great place. We just spend our time over there hanging out and doing this kind of stuff all day. I'm over on the Reddits. You can find me on GitHub. You can find me all around. I'm on the internet, okay? And I'm happy to chat with you because you're a good fella, and I'm excited to see what you're working on. So you hang in there, and as usual, be good, and we will catch you on the next one. Yo.